Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of The ROC with yours truly, Mike Bell and Ryan Gass. Make sure you throw us a share. Let the world know that you're listening to The ROC, all right? Do your part, guys. Get the message out there. Let's grow this beast.
And if you're not already on MeWe, get on the MeWe platform. It's the new replacement for Facebook. Get on MeWe and find us on there. Right of Center Podcast, ROC, ROC.
That's right. Find us not only on MeWe, but find us on all social media. That's Facebook, Instagram, MeWe, everything by searching hashtag The ROC. That's still kind of new. Might be able to find us using that. If not, let's use the official @, and that is @ROC Podcast Nation. @ROC Podcast Nation. So, man, what's up, Ryan? What rock we climbing today, buddy?
So, this is actually an old story, but I stumbled upon it today because I was watching a video from Tampa, and Tom Brady was on his nice, like, baby blue boat, I guess you would say. It was a noticeably nice boat, and it was like, I guess, give or take $2 million. Hey, the man's earned it. But why this come up with conversation is because I found an old story actually from December where people were bitching because one of his companies, I guess it's TB12. He, I guess, on top of playing football and being great at that, I guess he's got other businesses underneath that to help build his brand.
We're talking about Tom Brady, right?
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yeah, so, but he's got a company, I believe it's called TB12, and it received $960 from the PPP, what's it actually short for?
$960,000, and the PPP is a Paycheck Protection Program. It's something they use for a lot of the COVID stuff.
Yeah. So long story short, they received this. What do you want to call it? Government assistance. Let's call it that.
Yeah, it's a loan. It's supposed to be a loan.
Yeah. So, but they received this, and within a week or two, he bought that $2 million boat personally. And I wanted to talk about this because, again, I think that some people don't realize or don't think about things in a certain way. Tom Brady, the man, the quarterback, he is very successful. He's made millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars because of his playing of football and his endorsements related to that. But you got to think about this company as something totally separate. This company of his, and I don't know the details of this company, but a company, just because he's doing well and just because he personally has acquired a pretty good net worth probably, doesn't mean that that company didn't need that assistance. If you try to look at that company and say, well, TB12, Tom Brady's company, he does well. He's worth that much. His company did not need that money, so he could have just taken that money out of his personal whatever and put it in there. That's where you're going wrong. That's how you're looking at it wrong, because that's not the rules of the game, and that's not how you make a successful business. That's how you see. I was just watching a couple days ago a summary of like successful NFL players that are now worth zero, or they've gone bankrupt. And they've gone bankrupt because they've done stupid shit like that, and they've thought about things in that way, and they're out just handing away their money. That's great. It's nice of them. But if you do that too much, and you do it for prolonged periods of time, and you don't treat yourself as a business, that's how you end up going from a multi-million dollar contract to being a bankrupt football player. Based on Tom Brady's performance both on the field and off the field, and how he's building his brand and how he's building his business, I don't foresee him being on that list of bankrupt NFL players. And one of the ways he's doing that is by taking, and people, it sounds bad maybe, but he's taking advantage of the tools available to him and to his businesses. If that's a tool that's being available to his business because of the unnecessary restrictions placed on businesses by the U.S. government, why wouldn't he take and use that tool to better benefit his business and his employees?
Let's hold on a minute. So we're talking about the PPP. It's a loan, right? It is the Paycheck Protection Plan, or Paycheck Protection Program. And Tom Brady got a loan of nearly $1 million. He got $960,855 on April 15th, 2020.
He did, or his company?
His company, TB12.
Okay.
All right. Yep. I know there's a difference here, but let's look at something just a little bit here. Okay. First of all, what does TB12 do? Right. Well, TB12 sells supplements and merchandise online. Right. It's not like he has some massive business full of massive amounts of employees that could potentially be impacted. Maybe he does, but his market is to sell supplements and merchandise online. Now, what strikes me is this, dude, Mr. Gas, all right, private business owner, somebody that's informed on this stuff. Did you catch whenever he got the loan? April 15th, 2020.
Okay.
When did the COVID restrictions really hit? Second week of March.
Yeah.
All right. So this was 1 month after the COVID restrictions really hit. He got $1 million a month after the COVID restrictions hit. Did you know that just over 50% of small businesses who applied for this assistance did not get a PPP loan? That means if you were struggling to keep your guys afloat, there was a 50-50 chance that you would or would not get approved. If a mom and pop down the street with their restaurant, if they applied for one, 50-50 chance they wouldn't get approved. In fact, greater than 50-50 because 52% did not get approved. Right now, you were mentioning personal net worth versus your company, right? Well, Tom Brady's worth $200 million, right? That's at least what we know about his assets. He's married to a woman, Giselle. She's worth $400 million. Now, whatever, take that out of it, but it's something for nothing here. The couple together is worth, $600 million. The company, all right, the company that took a $1 million loan for Paycheck Protection was only valued between $350,000 to $1 million to begin with. So he took out a loan essentially for the entire valuation of his company. And he wasn't the only sports professional to do that. I mean, you look at like Major League Baseball agent Scott Boras, who's very famous in that industry. And here's a name that I know you're going to recognize, Floyd Mayweather, right? Both of those guys got these loans. Both of these guys, Floyd Money Mayweather is worth like $1 billion, right?
Probably.
He's stacked. And, as a taxpayer, bro, that money's going to people that, whatever, I get it. Separate the business from the man. But that money's going to somebody who technically could have loaned himself that money, right? You could loan your own self. You could take.
It's called owner investment.
Owner investment, right? Yeah. He could have essentially loaned his company that money, but he took advantage of a tool of a tool that was provided to him for $1 million, right? That's taxpayer money, bro. That's my money.
It's also his money too.
Well, it is also his money too. You're right. You're right. Now, ironically, I get taxed more than he does because he's smarter than me and knows how to pay people, so he doesn't have to pay taxes. Much like former President Donald Trump, right? When you look at percentage taxed versus net gain.
Yeah.
All right. And if we remember, like Donald Trump during his campaign, everybody accused him, show us the taxes, blah, blah, this and that, right? And he said, look, I'm aware that there's loopholes. Businessmen like myself have been taking advantage of these loopholes forever. The loopholes exist.
Yeah.
So do I blame Tom Brady for taking $1 million of taxpayer money to support a company that's arguably not worth $1 million whenever him and his old lady are sitting on nearly $1 billion that they could have loaned that company?
Well, so I don't know a lot about all this stuff. I just know that I didn't qualify for this shit. But I don't know that a company applies and they request a certain amount of money. I don't know that. It might be that way, but what I think, but I don't know, is I think that you more or less apply. You tell them your circumstances, you tell them this and tell them that, tell them whatever you got going on, and the government decides how much protection they're going to give you per se, what they're going to pay out. So it's not like, I don't think that he went out and said, hey, federal government, I need $960,855 to be able to keep my business going. I don't know how that number came up. I don't know who came up with that number, whether Tom Brady did, whether his accountants did, whether the U.S. government did, Donald Trump did. But nonetheless, it was a tool provided by taxpayers, which he's included in that, to benefit businesses, big or small. And he used it, just like, I paid a accountant. My accountant in 2020 actually cost me almost $30,000 to be able to organize things and best set me up to take advantage of the tax system as it is presented, so that I can pay less in taxes. Does that mean I didn't pay shit in taxes or I didn't pay much in taxes? I paid a shit ton in taxes in 2020. More than I am obviously happy with.
All right, the public wants to see Ryan Gass's tax statement.
Go fuck yourself.
Hey, check this out, man. Check this out. Tom Brady's one of those guys, you hate him or love him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as of the recent Super Bowl, he's got 7 Super Bowl rings. And Ryan, I know you're not a huge football fan, but nobody else has that many. And in doing so, he's elevated himself beyond the game of football. And now he's in those conversations with Mike Tyson and Michael Jordan and Wayne Gretzky, right? He's not just the greatest of football. He's one of the greatest of the greats, right? People are calling him the Lord of the Rings because he's won so many. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he's a normal guy. Mm-hmm. Well, I wouldn't say normal, but he's a guy in America. Mm-hmm. You know who else is a guy in America that has a company that sells supplements and merchandise online?
Andy fucking Frisella.
Andy fucking Frisella, right? And Andy, I know you're listening, buddy. Let's get you on the show.
What's up, man? How you been?
You know how he's been. He's like living large, man, not wearing a mask. But
Me neither.
Well, we'll get into that too at some point. But Andy, his guys never missed a day.
Yeah.
He never shut down. And as far as I know, he never took any money, right? He has continued to pay his people every day. Now, he's from St. Louis or in that region, and Tom Brady's from Foxborough, right? I mean, he's and now by way of Tampa Bay. But I think the argument here is this, Ryan, right? Like we're sitting here. What pisses me off about this is that that's $1 million of taxpayer money that I'm not sure if there's an interest rate associated with that loan. Like, is Tom Brady not only going to pay back the nearly, $1 million, is he going to pay that back with interest? Or was it a tax-free loan that or an interest-free loan that he was able to get? Borrowing taxpayer dollars that could be, used in the Social Security fund, right? To help bolster that or something else. In doing that, what he didn't do was give himself an owner investment, right? Where he could have leveraged that loan, where he could have leveraged that money. He didn't do that. That pisses me off, right? But that's not what's pissing off everybody in these articles. What's pissing off everybody in these articles is the fact that he went out and bought that yacht, right? Isn't that what you were telling me?
Yeah.
With that, I agree, right? I disagree with those people. Tom Brady's spending his own money to go out and buy himself a yacht after he just received a PPP loan. His company. Right. Exactly. Right. You have to separate the man from the business.
Yeah.
Like Ryan, we were just talking. Mike Bell, what I do in my profession pays for my life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't pay for this podcast. Well, actually it does, because guess who's fronting this shit? Me and you, right?
Yeah.
PTP Gun, your company, is not paying for this podcast.
Yeah.
My business isn't sponsoring this podcast, right? Mm-hmm. We're paying for this out of pocket.
Right.
So just for you listeners out there, if we ever try to, if we get some affiliate links and we ask you to buy our coffee brand or anything like that, right? You're not paying Mike Bell's paycheck. You're paying so that we can get nicer mics and we can get airtime and we can do these other things, right? You're not. So don't get mad when you see Ryan driving an $80,000 truck with 300,000 miles on it. That ain't where your money's going. And that's how people have to look at this with Tom Brady. He got a loan from the government to bolster his company. Mm-hmm. And then he personally spent several $1 million on a yacht.
Yeah.
It's different.
Yeah.
Right? You can't get mad at the guy for that.
Yeah.
I'm getting mad at the guy for something completely different. I'm getting mad at the guy because he had the means to do some kind of private investment loan from himself to his company. Yeah. And instead of doing that, he chose to take $1 million of taxpayer money.
Yeah. Like I said, he's not a dumb guy. He's not going to – I don't foresee him being on the bankrupt NFL, players list 10 years from now. Those who make those type of decisions and they just throw away their personal money to do this or do that and help every person under the sun, that's great and that's nice. But that isn't sustainable in the long term. And that's what he's looking at. He's looking at the long term. He doesn't want to be simply Tom Brady with 7 or 8 or 20 Super Bowl rings 20 years from now. He's going to be a totally different person income-wise and business-wise 20 years from now. And again, he wants to be different in a positive way. He's got, 2 or 3 kids, a wife, and all that stuff. He doesn't want to be on that bankrupt list. He wants to, be successful and continue to be successful as he is now. And he's making the right moves to do so, to ensure that he is going to, stand the test of time.
Right. Yeah, and I get it. No one's questioning the fact that the man is an entrepreneur outside of a football player, right? There's a lot of There's a lot of Raiders fans out there. Ray Patton, if you're listening from Arizona, I'm sure you feel this way too. But there's a lot of people that hate Tom Brady for what he's done on the football field, right? And what the Patriots have done on the football field and all that other stuff. But outside of that, man, you can't judge a guy because he's taking advantage of a loophole. I'm pissed at him for multiple reasons, football related, but I'm pissed at him because the guy didn't need to take taxpayer money and he did anyways. You know, in my opinion, it's no better than the guy that's claiming a disability yet goes out there and digs ditches, right? He's taking the taxpayer money to support his own freaking position, yet he's out there, you know, digging ditches. He's not disabled. He's milking the system. He found a loophole, right? Now, can I get mad at the guy or should I get mad at the system?
I say the system.
Yeah, fuck the system, man.
Yeah, no, fuck the system, yeah. But I mean, he's paid his taxes just like everybody else. I don't think he's like, you know, Al Sharpton. He's not behind on his taxes. He's paid his taxes. And part of paying your taxes, you get to take part in the benefits that are socially provided. So like I said, if he hadn't paid his taxes, or if he had lied on the paperwork and based on those lies they evaluated and gave him that 960, then that's a totally different topic. But I haven't seen that. If he had made a shell corporation in order to get it, if it was something like that, and if it is something like that, then I'll change my mind. But, he's just playing by the rules as they've been set. Don't get mad at the player, get mad at the rules.
Here's a spin. What if Trump Enterprises would have taken $1 million?
If they played by the rules. But
I guarantee you it would be more newsworthy.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because Trump. I mean.
Yeah, because it's Trump.
Yeah.
If anybody would have done what Tom Brady did, and they were, hated on as much as Donald Trump's hated on, this shit would be a much bigger story. Yeah. And in fact, I would argue that a lot of you listening to this right now probably have never even heard of this. But what it speaks to is this, man. In episode 1 or 2, we spoke about, fair wage and stuff like that, and separating businesses from people. And you spoke about, not taking a profit from your company and stuff like that, and investing more and more and more into your company. I'm curious if Tom Brady decided not to take any money from his company and keep his company rolling. I'm curious, and we'll never know that answer.
Yeah.
We'll never know that. Right. But this is what pisses me off, man. This is what pisses me off with the super elites, right? They have the means to do better than Jack and Diane down there with their corner cafe. Mm-hmm. They have the means to do better than Ryan Gass with PTP, right? They have the means to do better than Ridge Market or Ridge Hardware. They have the means to do better than that, right? They can take loans. They have not only their own money, man. They've got hundreds of friends with just as much money that they could borrow from against, to support their company. Yet they didn't. They took advantage. Well, I say that take advantage, and you can hit me or whatever, but They took advantage of the American taxpayer. That was a $2 trillion stimulus bill or whatever it was, and $1 million of that went to Tom Brady. It didn't go to Tom Brady. It went to Tom Brady's company. We keep saying that.
But like that's why I think a good solid statement is less government, the better. If we had less government and we didn't have all this bullshit going on between the COVID and the fucking relief of it, then we would be in a better state. We wouldn't have this even discussion happening. The less government, the better. I'm not an anarchist. I don't think that we need no government, but the less government, the better. The less they get into our shit, the less that we have situations like this happening.
So can you guess where, the rest of that $2.2 trillion stimulus check went?
No.
It wasn't just people like Tom Brady, right? So this is what pisses me off, man. We start here on Tom Brady and as the ROC, as right of center, right? It seems to always come back to politics, man. But the $2 trillion COVID-19 relief bill that was signed back around September-ish and released out, man, it's like, all right, so they gave like $600 to Americans, the American population, right? They gave roughly, $300 in weekly unemployment supplement, $284 billion in loans to small businesses and money for transit systems and entertainment venues hard hit by the virus. Well, all right. Where it gets really crazy is this. The legislation also added, not 1, but 2 national mall museums. All right. $10 million for gender programs in Pakistan.
What the?
Ryan Gass didn't get a PPP grant. or loan, right? Jack and Diane with the Corner Cafe didn't get $1 million PPP loan like TB12 did, but gender programs in Pakistan got $10 million. They also got $2.5 million for internet freedom in the same time that all this cancel culture bullshit's going on. What was the name of that social media company that got censored?
Parler.
Killed, right? But we're going to give $2.5 million to Pakistan for internet freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah, sure. Freedom isn't free, right? It costed about $2.5 million there.
Yeah.
Now, this bill that was almost 6,000 pages long, right? Mm-hmm. It was, it's just ridiculous. But, here's some stuff. Here's a list of a few of the items that are in that COVID-19 relief bill, right? $4 billion for New York's transit, right? For their mass transit system.
Is that privately owned or is that government owned?
I don't give a shit, but let me tell you something. We're in a shutdown. People are wearing masks and not going to work, right? Yeah. Quarantine, all that shit. What do I need $4 billion to bolster the train system for, right? If nobody's riding.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's already failing anyways. And this was an opportunity for who's the big political person in New York City?
The mayor?
Yeah.
I forget his name.
Yeah.
De Blasio?
Something like that.
Blasio.
the prick, right?
Yeah.
All right, so you got that $4 billion to the New York guys, $15 billion, right, toward grant programs for live entertainment venues such as Broadway. Broadway got $15 billion. Did Rich Hardware get any money? I don't think so. We can get them on the phone and ask them.
They got shut down.
They got shut down, right, because somebody didn't wear a mask. Did PTP Gun get any money? No. Tom Brady got some. I'm sorry, Tom Brady's company got some, right?
Yeah.
What about here you go. Here's one where Trump slipped it in a little bit, right? $1.4 billion for construction of the wall on the southern US border, right? But this just speaks to it, and then outside of the money that was included in it, like there's also this rule saying that the U.S. Postal Service can no longer deliver e-cigarettes because that's what we need to be focused on during stimulus. We need to be focused on the COVID relief bill needs to focus on the Postal Service delivering e-cigarettes or the new museums on National Mall to focus on Latinos and women, right? And those were pushed hard by Senator Robert Menendez, of course, from New Jersey, and Representative Carolyn Maloney, also from New Jersey, or from New York, sorry, also Democrat, both of them being Democrats. It's bullshit, man. It's the fluff. It's the earmarked shit that's packed into these bills that, of course, Tom Brady, American, right? Badass guy, right? Hero to so many Patriots and Bucks fans across the frickin' world, took advantage of. Got $1 million pilled off of that, right? And these are dollars that taxpayers are going to be paying back forever, bro. You measure that against the national debt and it's ridiculous. So, here's what we're going to call it, right? Misplaced aggression.
Yeah.
You got these people that are mad at Tom Brady for buying a yacht after his company just took $1 million loan. Hey, be mad at him, but be mad at him for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Be mad at him because he didn't need to take the damn loan. He could have taken a loan from other people besides the American society, the American public, and he chose not to. And maybe he didn't make the decision, Ryan. If you're worth, you and your wife combined are worth nearly $1 billion. Are you really running the books for your company? No, you're just the face.
Yeah.
You're just the guy that's shooting the promo videos. You're just using your name, likeness, and number.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
To make a lot more money.
Yeah.
And there's an accountant on the book somewhere that went ahead and filed that paperwork for him.
Oh yeah.
That whatever. But it's like everybody. It's just misplaced aggression. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah.
Be mad. Be mad at Tom Brady. Be mad for him not standing up and saying, hey, we don't need to take this loan. I could float the company like Anya Frisella did, right?
Yeah.
Be better. So that's Mike Bell's 2 cents on it.
Yeah. I mean, shit, you never know. I mean, he may not have needed that shit, but he might have grown his business, not only sustained, but he might have grown his business. Like, shit, if the government said, hey, Ryan, you've been paying your taxes, you're up to date on your shit. Here, we want to give you this, $100,000 loan to sustain and or grow your business. Shit, you best believe I'm going to take that. You best believe I'm going to, go out there and do what I need to do to expand my business or sustain my business. And I will say difference between me and Tom Brady is I don't have the money. So no one can ever look at me and say, Ryan, why didn't you just take that money out of your... I don't have it. But no, I mean, like we've, I think we've kind of agreed. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Don't hate the person for following the rules. Change the fucking rules.
Here's what's fishy about the coronavirus bill, right? The COVID relief bill. So I personally, I don't make a lot of money, man. I qualified for the $600 stimulus loan or incentive, whatever
COVID
the hell
cash.
you want to call it. Yeah, the COVID cash. I qualified for it, But at the time, do you remember Trump was pushing for $2,000? Mm-hmm. Pushed hard. $2,000. What's $600 going to do, right? Let's get everybody $2,000. They shut that shit down. They killed it. And now here we are, a month into President Biden's administration. And the other $1,400 is coming pretty soon. So it's like, man, who really has the American as the best interest? Who on the Hill today, and I mean Capitol Hill, who really has America's best interest at heart? Who there today is really fighting for Americans? And I posted something in the Facebook group recently about, what was her name? She was a senator from Georgia. Marjorie Taylor Greene or something like that.
Yeah.
And, she's staunch Republican, and she pushes really hard for the American people. But she put her own damn foot in her mouth, man. And she says this shit like she's thinking that the California wildfires are started by Jewish lasers in outer space. And it's like, what the hell is this stuff, man? And it's like, okay, well, another strike down for the good guys, right? And then you got people like Ted Cruz or whatever, and the senator from New York, I believe it is, that are, really pushing hard, and then they start saying this other shit, and it's like, come on, guys. I can't deal with it, man. I can't deal with it. I can't deal with the political posturing, the freaking,
I hate politicians.
That's another episode. Let's get back to Tom Brady. How do you really feel about Tom Brady?
So, outside of this direct topic, I mean, I never really was a fan of his. I will say after, because, the last 2 or 3 weeks they've been throwing everything and anything about Tom Brady out there. I've been kind of like reading up and watching up on him. I'm not a Buccaneers fan. Never was a Patriots fan. Tom Brady was the man you love to hate and shit because he's so damn freaking good. But I don't know. From what I've seen and stuff, and kind of learned up on him, I kind of admire the guy. Between what was it? There was the last game that they won before the Super Bowl. It was the AFC Championship,
NFC Championship.
Whatever. One of his teammates was crying out of tears of joy and stuff after the game, like, oh my God, we did it. And Tom Brady, more or less, and I might be misquoting, but more or less said something along the lines like, what the fuck are you crying for? We haven't done shit yet. This ain't over. Right. What are you crying for? And I fucking love that.
Yeah, I admire that.
Oh my gosh, dude. I got wet fucking reading that shit. I was like, God, because seriously, it's not over till it's over. And it's not even over now. He just won his 7th Super Bowl. It ain't over. He's looking forward to next year. So he's enjoying himself a little bit and he's happy and stuff, but he knows it ain't over. Next year and the year after that, and until he retires, it's not fucking over.
It's never over, man.
And I love that shit. Like, we've had good days and we've had bad days in my company. We've had good months, we've had bad months. But even when it's good, I don't slow down at all because whatever we did that month, let's say we did our best month ever. Well, I want next month to be the next best month ever. It may not be, but I'm going to work my ass off to get it there. And that's what I fucking loved when I saw that he had said that and done that. And he's always been pretty, he doesn't really talk a lot, I don't think. From what I've seen, he doesn't talk a lot of shit. He just does it, to a certain extent. At times he does talk and say shit on the field. I've seen where he does that a little bit, but that's just part of being, a competitive person. But, he kind of, he more or less leaves it on the field. He's a somewhat private person from what I've noticed. Well,
a lot of professional sports athletes, right? They're mentored and told and guided not to speak a lot, right? Yeah. Because everything they say is going to be used against them.
Yeah.
But what I admire, and like you said, right, he doesn't give up, right? It's never over until and they just won a Super Bowl. Guess what? He's coming back.
Yeah.
And so it's still not over for him. And that's why I think, all things considered about Tom Brady and the money stuff that we talked about at the beginning of the episode. Did you watch that series on television? I think it's even on Netflix, called The Last Dance, had Michael Jordan.
Yeah, that was great.
Right. And he held the people around him to a higher standard. And that's what I think is going to make America, continue. Well, I'm just going to say make America great again. Because no matter what you think, dude, we're falling off, man. And we're falling off too fast. Yeah. And this division and the freaking insurrection and all this other shit that's going on is driving me freaking crazy, man. Yeah. Politics isn't going to fix it. People like me, you, and the people listening to this podcast right now are going to fix it. Yeah. While I got you here, go ahead, head on over to MeWe, head over to Facebook, check us out. Right of Center Podcast, ROC, hashtag the ROC, ROC, the ROC, right? Get out there and get the message I heard. But whenever I was watching that on The Last Dance, it's like they never settle. You're going to hold each other to a higher standard. And that's what Tom Brady's done. And what really pisses me off is this. Earlier we mentioned separating Tom Brady, the football player, from TB12, the business, right? People also need to separate Tom Brady, the football player, from Tom Brady. And, after the Super Bowl, there's all these news footage going around now of him getting shitty drunk, right? Yeah. Stumbling around, people carrying him. And it's like, you're going to sit here and tell me you never got blackout drunk?
Yeah.
I have. And that's Tom Brady. I mean, He just won his freaking 7th Super Bowl. He's just achieved something that nobody else in the history of this planet has ever achieved before. Give the guy a break. He's going to get out there and get shitty. He's going to celebrate.
Yeah.
And if I had $200 million, guess what, bub?
Yeah.
Me getting shitty is going to be taken to a whole other level.
That, honestly, if you quite think about it, he's probably honestly a lightweight because he probably doesn't drink much throughout the year because he's got to he's in physical, and be a physical person. He's got to work out, got to do all this shit. And that doesn't jive with drinking often or drinking a lot. So I imagine, one, he's probably a lightweight. Two, he's earned it. So let's just say he doesn't drink much throughout the year. He might drink a little bit in the off season, especially when he's celebrating and stuff like this. Dude, the guy's earned it. The guy has earned it. I'm not a drunk or an alcoholic or anything like that. But I probably drink more than I should, and that's probably why I weigh as much as I do. I put on like 40 pounds like I got out of the Marine Corps. When I drink, sometimes I've earned it. Sometimes just because I'm being lazy and just trying to chill after a long day. I'm almost confident that that's not him. He's out there. He busts his ass all damn year. He's led his team to another Super Bowl and won it. Fuck it. Give the guy a week. Let him do his thing. Let him get those bugs out of his system. Pent it up all year. Let him drink a little bit. Let him do a little liney line. let him do what he's got to do.
You think Tom Brady's on that medical marijuana?
No.
You don't think so? You don't think he's? I will say, got a legal card, right? I mean, he's in Florida now. Is it legal in Florida?
Yeah, but I think the NFL tests for that shit. Probably.
Yeah, but I thought that they did away with outlawing marijuana. I'll have to pull the stats on that, but
I don't know. I'm
telling you, and not only that, dude, he's got that hot ass wife. He's got a supermodel for a wife, man. And you talk about it. I mean, he's got, these guys have babysitters, professional athletes, actors, stuff like that. You ever wonder why like actors are always ripped and in good shape? Because they got the money to pay somebody to babysit them. They got meals made for them. They got certain regiments where they're working out certain times and all that other stuff. Man, they got babysitters. They got handlers, right?
Yeah.
Tom Brady, he's not going to be getting shit-faced drunk. Not only because he doesn't need a babysitter, right? Because when you're at that level and you're as good as he is, he understands that he can't put his body through the getting shitty drunk and going through recovery, right? Yeah. He can't do it. But I guarantee probably something. He probably is like pumping IV fluid. Like after, you know what I'm saying? Like, hangovers probably don't exist for Tom Brady. He probably got shitty drunk, went to some like dialysis machine and filtered his blood or something like that, right? When you got that kind of money.
I mean, I've had buddies and stuff that have access to stuff like that because of the line of work they may or may not be in. And I mean, I've been lucky enough where a couple of times I've gotten drunk and, halfway through the night and stuff, we're pumping IVs. We wake up next morning in a parking lot, we got IVs going and shit, chugging the shit out of some Pedialyte. Oh man, Pedialyte. If you're listening and you don't know what Pedialyte is, the next time you get drunk or not, make sure you have some standing by for the morning. Drink that shit and it's Like, you ever drink so much that the next day you can feel it as you're pissing, you can feel the alcohol leaving your body? You ever done that? Well, with Pedialyte, it's not only do you have the opportunity to do that, but you can feel the good going in. You piss, you feel the evil going out of your body. You drink the Pedialyte, you feel the good just pouring into your veins and shit.
You ever drank so much when you piss the next morning, like you could see the alcohol waves? Like they look like heat waves.
You could
coming off of the toilet.
The alcohol percentage is so fucking high, you could probably light that shit on fire.
Yeah, dude. And hey, listen, Ryan ain't bullshitting you with that Pedialyte stuff. We went camping. Here's a little personal story for the Rock out there. We went camping one time. This is hilarious. This guy, everyone had to bring. So there's this annual guys camping trip, and I don't go as often as I should. But
you're going next year.
I'll be going
this year.
But we went one year, and one of the stipulations is everybody has to cook like 1 meal, right? Ryan shows up with like a chicken coop strapped to the back of his truck with like 5 chickens. And his idea of cooking a meal for everybody was harvesting a live chicken on site. So we're hours away out in the hills of Virginia.
Gore, Virginia,
yeah. And he's got these chickens. And before you know it, we're all drunk. We've been drinking all day because that's what you do on mancation. And he built this rig to hang these chickens from so he could bleed them out. I'm not going to get into the gory details, but we ended up cooking some fresh chickens over the campfire that night. In fact, Ryan, I think you left one like at Gore to like be like the mascot.
Yeah, just running. It's probably made. Yeah.
Anyhow, the next, one of them every day, we'd wake up. We were there for 3 or 4 days, and every day we'd wake up, and Ryan, the first thing he does, he hits that Pedialyte, and he swears by it. And I've tried it, and I'll even one up Ryan. If you've got the Pedialyte, drink some before you go to sleep too, right? Because it kind of helps you, right? Hit that with your handful of ibuprofen and kind of do like a little preventative maintenance.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, man, Tom Brady. As a football player or as a football fan, when he played for the Patriots, I hated him, and just because the Patriots are trash. And if you're listening and you're a Patriots fan, I don't know what to tell you, man. You root for a trash team.
Yeah, you have nothing now. You are nothing. Yeah. You have nothing. What do they? Who's their quarterback?
Cam Newton, man. Just went over there and guess what he did? Nothing. But so Tom Brady as a football player, whatever, man. You achieved great stuff. I commend you for that. I respect the work that you put in to get yourself to where you need to be, and your ability to walk into an organization such as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, retool that team, and create a Super Bowl winning team out of them. But as a man, and how, if you had anything to do with taking this PPP loan from the government, when you and your wife combined had more than enough opportunity and capability to be able to float that company through the pandemic, you chose to take taxpayer money to do that, man, you lost respect. And that's just my position.
Hate the game, not the player.
Yeah, man. Hate the game, not the player. Well, Ryan, man, I think we beat the hell out of Tom Brady. Guys, if you're not on MeWe yet, get on there, man, because that's where Ryan and I are doing a lot of good work. Follow us there. You can find us at Right of Center Podcasts, and then just ROC, or you can just type in Right of Center. You might be able to find us that way. Search for hashtag the ROC. That's ROC. Hashtag the ROC. Find us on MeWe. Find us on Instagram. Find us on Facebook. Find us on all social media, man, and engage with us there, right? Don't just find us. Like, get there and say something. Talk shit. Tell Ryan he needs to quit breathing so hard in the damn microphone. All right? Like this, we are here for you, and we need you to be here for us too, right? So this keeps growing. Other than that, make sure you're letting your buddies know that you're listening to The Rock. Let's grow this bitch. All right. Let's build a podcast for middle America, and let's stay right of center, guys. Ryan, what you got?
I just can't wait until next episode, man. We're making podcasts great again.
Hey, make podcasts great again. That's it. And with that, guys, we're out.
Stay strapped and get clapped.